have an idea in your mind of something you want, and you deserve to get it. So how do you get there? Well, welcome to the Idea Space, a podcast devoted to helping you overcome frustration and make what you want a reality. I'm your host, Jen Liddy, high school teacher turned entrepreneur. Now I'm a business development coach. It's my mission to help women bring their ideas to life and get what they want without feeling guilty, selfish, overwhelmed, or lost. Every week, I share topics, tools, and strategies to help you move toward that thing you want. Create time and energy to do the things you love, get clarity on what you really want and how to get there, and most importantly, stop feeling alone with your challenges. Whether you've wanted to create a better business, job, relationship, hobby, or self, I know there's something more that you want, and it's time you were able to get it with confidence and clarity. Ready to have it? Let's go. Hi, welcome to the Idea Space podcast. I'm your host, Jen Liddy, and today I'm sharing what it really looks like from inside my brain to create this podcast. So remember that I come to you from Syracuse, New York, which is in the middle of the state, considered upstate New York, where it's normally freezing at this time of year. But weirdly today, it's like basically summer. It's 46 degrees on February 23rd in Syracuse, New York. And so like a total badass, I walked around all day without a coat or socks. But it was time to get my podcast written and recorded. And so I sat down at my desk, which faces three gigantic, ancient windows. And it's all cleared off and ready for work. Now, the thing you need to know about these windows are they're 115 years old. And if you stand too close to them, you'll feel your hair start to blow. That's actually why we call our network breezy windows in our house. But the work on the docket for today is writing my podcast for you and then recording it. But I just can't seem to get to it. Instead, I stare out those huge windows wondering, why is it cold in my office but warm outside? And then as I'm staring out the window, I notice, oh my God, the bird feeders are empty. It's been weeks since I filled those up. I should go out there and do that because it's basically summer right now. And then I'm like, no, Jen, get back to the writing. And then I think, oh, I just love the red cardinals who visit when the feeders are full. And then today we had a woodpecker and I had never seen that one before. And I just let my mind wander. And then I bring myself back to my white screen where the cursor is relentlessly blinking at me. It's a totally blank screen. But then I notice this blobby brown mark on my screen and I think, is that chocolate? How the hell did chocolate make it onto my screen? This is a laptop, not an iPad. And then I say the words blobby brown out loud and I start to laugh because of course I think of Whitney Houston's husband, Bobby Brown, and his song, My Prerogative. And then I consider asking Alexa to play it because I haven't heard it in years. And then I'm like, no, Jen, geez, just get back to writing the podcast. And then I go back to looking out the window because it's just so beautiful out there and the sun is actually shining in February, which is a rarity. And I notice that the 5 to 6 inches of snow that piled up last week are now disappearing, which shows all the leaves that we didn't rake up last fall. And then I think about how much I hate raking and then how happy I am that winter's almost over. And then how sad my husband and my son are going to be when ski season is over. And then I kind of chuckle and I think, oh well, too bad for them. I'm happy. And then suddenly 2 little jackasses on noisy, terrifying motorbikes race up my street. So our city is plagued with these, the bikes, not the jackasses. And these guys aren't wearing helmets. So I take a moment to judge them like they're going to care what I think. And then I worry about them like they're going to hurt themselves. And then maybe I think they're going to hit somebody else. So these are the thoughts that are going through my mind today. This is a rabbit hole for content creators. And if you have ever tried to write a blog post, create a podcast script, do a Facebook Live video, simply write an email to your list, or even do a social media post on Instagram or Facebook, this is what it can feel like. Fits and starts, muddy, unclear. And I wanted to share this with you because I write all the time. And I have a system for doing it. And I know that content creation is really important. But there's times when even I, with a system and the experience, feel like this, like I'm staring out the window thinking about everything else in the world except getting the thing done that I need to do, which is to record this podcast for you. So I thought maybe I'll just record a podcast that shows what it's really like, kind of like a Seinfeld episode. So if you're a small business owner, you know that creating good content that your audience finds valuable is way up there in the quote unquote things you should be doing category of running your business. And I want you to know that I understand how hard this is. I understand that you want to show up for your audience, your followers, the people on your list, your people, everyone who's raised their hand to hear from you. But it is freaking hard. It's hard to be seen. It's hard, especially when you have a lot going on or feel particularly uninspired, to get into your brain and really mine for something gorgeous. Now, as a high school English teacher, this sometimes happened to me. I would get stuck with planning a lesson or really getting into a book that we had to read. So I would do some research, talk with a colleague, or even Google somebody else's lesson plan ideas. But entrepreneurs have this false belief that everything they do has to be 100% solid gold. Like it always has to be absolutely riveting, original content no one's ever heard before. Here I am today to prove to you that it doesn't always have to be 100% original, riveting content. Like I've basically gone Seinfeld on you, telling you about a really banal afternoon I'm having struggling to just write some content. But here's why I'm doing it. Because I bet you can relate to my frustration. I bet you feel my pain. And that is what good content does. I'm here to remind you that creating content is one of the best returns on investment in your business. Even though it's time consuming, even though it's not always easy, it is 100% worth it. We just make it harder than it has to be. We sometimes think I don't know what to say, or it takes too much time, or nobody really wants to hear from me, or I don't want to bother people. And that's why I have created a workshop for you to make it so much easier to create content on the regular. I'm offering it at the end of March, but I want to tell you about it now because it's a 2-day online intensive workshop called the Customized Content Solution. And the reason I created it was I've heard so many business owners say that they don't know what to say, it takes too much time, and they just want it to be a little bit easier to connect with their audience. So you'll leave with a personalized vault. Literally, you will have so much content of on-demand content that you can dip into anytime you need some good stuff. Like I want you to think of it as a customized bank of ideas and content to withdraw from anytime you need messaging, or like a cupboard that's always full without having to go back to the grocery store. So if you've ever thought that creating content is too hard and time consuming, and most of the days that you sit down to write something are like the one I'm having today, then this workshop, the Customized Content Solution, is for you. But I promise you, this isn't canned prompts or blanks for you to fill in. It's actually, you're going to create the foundations of what your audience needs for your business, like what they need to hear from you. And it's going to make it easy for you to reach out and connect with your audience on the regular. It's going to help you stop wasting time racking your brain thinking about what to write about. And it's going to help you share your expertise without feeling like salesy or pushy or aggressive, all those things that people say they hate to do when they create content. So join me. You can go right to my website, www.jenliddy.com, and there'll be a registration button. And if this is speaking to you today and you would love to be able to just speak directly to your people and attract them to you, you're going to want to get in on this. I'm not offering this again till the fall. And frankly, I know that a lot of people who listen to this podcast want to work with me, but it's expensive to work with somebody one-on-one. So this is a really affordable way to work with me and get seen and heard in a noisy world. So remember that last month, courage was the topic of the podcast. And I did that strategically because I wanted to prep you for this idea of creating content so that your audience can see you. It's very scary to be seen, and it's very hard to do these kinds of things. And getting your content out there is key to growing your business, and that takes courage. So I want you to remember, if nothing else today, that you can do hard things. You can be seen even if you're afraid. Join me at the workshop at jenliddy.com/solution. And I look forward to seeing you back here again next week when we're talking more about how to be seen in the world. Bye. Thanks for joining me today. You can access more free tools and video trainings at www.jenliddy.com/free. free sources. That's FREE sources. If you found this podcast helpful, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed and gave a review. And if you have a friend who'd benefit from today's topic, tool, or strategy, please share the Idea Space podcast with her. That way, together, we can help more women achieve their dreams and take action on their ideas. Isn't it time we all were able to get what we want? Join me next week, and remember, right now, all you need to do to make your idea a reality is take the very next step you know how to. Bye!